So, I got to see Apink on their Pink Memory Tour in San Francisco on Friday, January 8th, 2016. On top of that, I got to do the meet and greet option and got my picture taken with them, along with 9 other strangers I'm probably never ever going to see again the rest of my life. It's 3 days later while I'm recording this, and I still cannot stop thinking about it. I've been a fan of Apink's for more than 4 years, and I never thought I would ever get to see them perform live, let alone actually touch them. I was concerned about how this was all going to play out because I'd read numerous complaints about how the meet and greets went during the previous 2 shows in Vancouver and Dallas. It looks like the promoter had learned some lessons, and the event looked very organized for the Regency Ballroom. Here's how it played out. After our tickets were scanned and our wristbands were checked, we headed into the general admission area. There on the floor was a partition. Volunteers and security had us line up in columns of 10. This was our first bit of good news. I'd heard that they rushed the photo shoot in Vancouver and put 15 people in each shot. Each group got to go in front of the partition for their photo shoot, and the remaining columns shifted to the right. Every time a group went in front of the partition, they would scream. And when it was my group's turn, I didn't scream, but I felt like my jaw hit the floor when I saw them smiling at us and waving. They stood in this order: Ha-Young, Bomi, Nam-Joo, Cho-Rong, Na-Eun, and Eun-Ji. They were behind a single row of 10 seats. The people at the front of the line were instructed to keep walking to the end of the row, and we were all told to sit down. This meant we couldn't arrange to be next to our biases. Mine happens to be Eun-Ji. Since I was 8th in line, that means I probably had Ha-Young and or Bomi behind me. I haven't seen the pictures yet, and I didn't look behind me because I wanted to make sure I was covering my face while the photos were being taken. I was just glad I wasn't 1st or 10th in the line. I probably wouldn't have had any of them behind me. We then had to get back into our columns because we were going to do high touch next. The volunteers removed the chairs, and we filed through to high five all 6 members. It went by so quickly, I only had time to look at their faces while I brushed their fingers. And I remember Nam-Joo told me, "Hi!" When I got to Eun-Ji, she was doing fist bumps. And I could not react quickly enough to get my hand to form a fist. So she wound up fisting the palm of my hand. After the touch, I looked at her and said one word: bias. I had hoped that was a word of English she understood. And she kind of stared at me blankly, but still had a smile on her face, so I don't know what she thought about me. After that, we formed a queue to buy the merchandise. They had us in a zigzag formation in this small room. It was during this time that I met a YouTuber I was familiar with. He's known as Nicky Boy and does reactions to K-pop music videos. I told him that soon after I'd seen my first Apink video more than 4 years ago, I came across his reaction video, and that as long as I'd been an Apink fan, he had been a part of all that. He seemed rather stunned by this. We talked for a bit while waiting in the merchandise line. I didn't buy anything, but he decided to plunk down $28 for a light stick because he needed some sort of souvenir. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about the concert itself because there are videos of it all over the place. It was a lot of fun. It went on for almost 2 hours, and they did 11 songs in total. When they did the Q&A section, they used the question I asked on the event page on Facebook about which American artists they were fans of. They put the question to Bomi, who responded with Ariana Grande and sang a little bit of one of her songs. That happened because of me. During the intermission, the people who beat me out for the cover contest took the stage. They did a good job. One of the nice things they did was dance to Hush, one of the top requested songs that Apink did not perform, even though the MC kind of teased it with the Q&A. However, I am aware that some people in the audience weren't aware of the contest itself and wondered aloud why those 3 individuals were on the stage. The one thing that stood out for me was the omission of the spoken word section of the song My My. I can only imagine that this was removed out of respect for Eun-Kyung, because it certainly wasn't needed to save time, except maybe in Vancouver. Now, I knew ahead of time that I wasn't going to shoot any photos or video of the show because I didn't want to run the risk of getting thrown out. However, I do wish that I'd known ahead of time how the high touch was going to go. I would have had my phone fully charged and the memory cleared out. I would have started rolling video, stuck the camera in my shirt pocket, and covered up with my jacket before going into the ballroom. Then once I got on the other side of the partition, I would have opened my jacket to expose the camera and capture all 10 seconds of my high-touch experience. So, I had a great time. It ended way too soon, and it's probably going to be the last time I ever do anything like this. From now on, I have to be a grown-up.